everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be updating my Pan Those Eyeshadow Palette series. This is the 7th update. I can't believe that this last month just went by so fast for me. I can't believe we're already over halfway through the year and we're at the end of July. It's crazy to me. But yes, I have some really good progress to show you. If you haven't been following along in this project, I will have the playlist linked down below, and so you can catch up that way. But just a reminder, this is a hybrid project between Pan Those Eyeshadows and Pan That Palette. I do have the creators linked down below as well of both of those projects, and I've just really been enjoying working through my eyeshadows this way. So I am currently working on 3 palettes. The first 2 I am working to empty, and then the third one I am currently working to pan, but then I do want to empty it as well. First, I will show you what my quintet was looking like last month. So I had the shades Corduroy from my Pro Matte palette. From the Pro 2 palette, I had my Franken Shadow that I created out of several of the shades. I had the shade Plum, and I had the shade Rosé. And then from my Marc Jacobs Glambition palette, I had the shade Infamous. So starting with the Pro Matte palette, I will go ahead and show you what this palette was looking like last month. And here is what it's looking like this month. So I feel like I made some pretty decent progress here. I'm excited about it. Chocolate was in my quintet prior to this last month, but I decided to roll it out since I was only using it in my brows and put Corduroy in its place. So we'll talk about Corduroy real fast and then we'll touch on Chocolate. I haven't been using Burgundy at all yet, but I'll get there eventually. For now, we're just focusing on Corduroy and Chocolate. I did use up these 4 shades and declutter this one. But with Corduroy, I used it 23 times last month. And then with my usage within the rest of the project, I have used it a total of 31 times. I feel like you can see some pretty good progress within the shade. The pan has expanded a bit. I was kind of hoping to hit side pan, but I feel like I did a pretty good job of just expanding the pan, like deepening the dip within it. And yeah, I'm thinking side pan will happen this next month. But yeah, I really like this shade. I've always really liked this shade. I have used it all over the lid sometimes, but mostly I use it on the outer corner, and yeah, I'm happy with my progress on that one. As far as Chocolate goes, I don't know how quickly I'll get through this one. I have used it a total of 136 times within the project. So I'm thinking I made some really good progress on this, more than I thought I would have. I was looking at the picture from last month and I can see a pretty big difference between the two. So I don't know. Part of me thinks I might be able to get it done this next month, but since I use it in my brows, I'm not positive about that. We'll see. If I don't get it done this next month, I definitely think I will the following month, but there's a chance, I think there's a chance that I'll have this done next month, which would be really, really exciting, because then I would just have Corduroy and Burgundy to work through, and then I will have finished this palette. So I definitely think I can get this done by the end of the year. Not sure, it might be before December, but we'll see. We'll see what we can do. I don't know how long these are gonna take me. Obviously this one's pretty full, so once I get to using this, I think it'll take me a little while to get through, but I think I can have this completed by the end of the year. Next is my Lorac Pro 2 palette, and as I said, I have my Franken Shadow. In this palette last month, I made a Franken Shadow out of the shades Cool Gray, Charcoal, Chrome, and Silver, which were all like the gray tones in this palette, gray purple, and then I did actually put some of Plum in it as well, and then I ended up rolling Plum in to the quintet last month. So I will show you what this looked like last month. And here is what the palette is looking like this month. I will show you the single update here in a moment, but yeah, I think this is some pretty good progress in here. I'm pretty happy with it. Very notably, Rosé is gone, which is really exciting. So I did end up using this. I had it in the quintet, I think for 2 months, And then but I had used it a ton before then. So I used it a total of 20 times last month. And then within the quintet, it was a total of 45 uses. But within the whole project, I used it 93 times. So I was really happy to get that used up. It was very exciting. I did really enjoy the shade, so it's a little bit sad to see it gone. But I think I have some other shades very similar within my collection, or something that can kind of give me the same vibe. But I'm really glad to have that done. It's one more on the list of getting things done, so very exciting. And then as far as Plum goes, I feel like that's a pretty exciting update as well. You can see the pan has expanded a lot, and that's pretty exciting because I only used the shade 7 times. So that's really, it's just 7 times within the project that I've used it. I did scrape out some to use within the single shadow. But yeah, the pan has expanded a decent amount with just 7 uses. This one is a more powdery formula, so it is like, it's got a lot of kick up. Yeah, I didn't get to use it a ton last month because I was focusing in on rosé, and I was using it with some other colors, but I prefer more neutral looks. But I have been using Plum as a liner, and I do like that look a lot. It's very pretty. Actually, one of you guys suggested that I do that, so thank you for that suggestion, because I do really like how that looks. I don't do that all the time because I am working on my Bobbi Brown liner in my 21 and 21 project. So I tend to gravitate towards using that one over this. Or over any other kind of liner, just because I want to get that one used up. But I am enjoying using Plum as a liner. I think it looks really nice. It does a good job. So yeah, so I don't know how quickly this one will go, but it's very exciting to me that you can see some progress already, because I've been a bit nervous about this and this shade when I have them in, getting them used, because they are not my normal shades. I don't really do a lot of color. So it's nice that it is moving quickly for me. And then here is what the single shadow is looking like. I'm gonna have to be very careful because it is very loose in there, and actually I think I just lost some. But this is what it's looking like right now. Not very much progress. You really can't see much change in it. But yeah, it's kind of pulled away from the pan a bit. So I feel like if I tipped it over, it probably would just fall right out. I am using it on the lid today. I did put another shade on top of it, and I used this one a total of 4 times this last month. So it's just a total of 4 times altogether. Again, you don't really see very much of a difference with it. I like the shade. It's a lot darker than I anticipated and was hoping for, but it is a pretty shade. And especially when you like get it wet, it gets kind of glittery, and that's pretty cool. But I have no idea how long this is gonna take me. I have a feeling it's gonna be a while, and I don't know how quickly I'm gonna get through it. I think it's gonna take me a good chunk of time. So this one's gonna probably be in through the end of the year, but we'll see. Again, I think it's kind of crumbly, so it might fall apart. I might need to repress it at some point, just because it's not sitting very firmly within the pan, which is mostly my fault with the pressing. But that's okay. I'm gonna try to keep using this. I'm gonna try to use this. I think I want to try to use it more like 5 times next month. I'm not gonna try to force myself to use it a ton, because I like looks like this, but they're a bit grungy for me on an everyday basis. So I'm not gonna try to make myself wear this every single day to get it used up super fast. I'm just gonna try to get as much use on it as I can, and just kind of give myself a low goal. And if I hit over that, fantastic. But I think I'm just gonna stick with like 5 uses, try to get 5 uses on this one next month. So I will be rolling in a shade for rosé, so stick around, and we'll get to that actually very shortly, because my Marc Jacobs palette is next, and that one doesn't have a ton to talk about. So moving on to the Glambition palette, I will show you what this one was looking like last month. and here is what it's looking like this month. It's some pretty exciting progress. I'm really excited about this. Some kind of unexpected progress. So I was not expecting to have pan so quickly. And not only did I get pan in Infamous, the shade that I was working on, I also got pan in the shade She Was. So like I mentioned earlier in the video, my goal with this palette is eventually to empty it up, but first I am going to try to hit pan on all the shades, and then I will refocus. Since there's so few shades within the palette, I will refocus and empty out what's left within the palette. So I do have pan now on She Was, Infamous, and Seeking. You can't really tell with Seeking because I foil it. There is a little bit of a glimmer of pan in there, I hope you can see, but it's kind of hard to tell just because I get my brush wet and dip back in, which I know doesn't help a ton, but it is, yeah, you can kind of see there's a little bit of pan in there. So it technically does have pan. But then these three shades, Seeking, The Most, and Over the Top, they don't have pan yet. So I want to hit pan in those before I would try to empty out the rest of the palette. I did have the shade Glamour in here, but it just kept breaking apart and it would just get all over this palette and all over everything. And so I just decided to declutter that one because it was another black, and I have black throughout several different palettes, and I don't feel like I need, I didn't feel like I needed that shade. Now I only have 3 more shades to hit pan on before we will go ahead and try to empty this whole palette out. I'll go ahead and give you numbers real quick on everything that I used though. So starting with Infamous, because that was the shade in my quintet, I used this one a total of 24 times, and I did hit pan on it on the 12th use. Now I had used this one probably, aside from Known For, I probably had used it the most within this palette, but yeah, so it didn't surprise me too much that I hit pan on it that quickly, but I was still surprised to hit pan on it quickly. I was expecting it to probably take me 2 months because this formula is pretty hard packed and it does take a while to get to pan. So total of 24 uses, 12 uses to hit pan. And then as far as the rest of the palette goes, I did use She Was 27 times, and I hit pan on the 15th use for that one. I used Known For 3 times. I used Seeking 24 times. I ended up using Seeking and Infamous together a lot. I really liked that blend, so it looked really nice together. So I'll probably continue to do that, honestly. It's what I wear in the crease most every single day, and I think it looks really good together. So I'm very happy with that pairing. And then I used The Most 7 times, and Over the Top I only used twice because I was pretty much using corduroy most of the time, so I only dipped into that one a couple of times. In fact, I probably won't roll that one in because I have corduroy in, and I don't want them to compete. That was kind of one of my rules, is I won't let a shade be rolled in if it will compete, if it's like the exact same shade as another shade within my quintet. So I will be rolling in another shade from this palette, one of these 3, probably one of these 2, which feels a little bit silly that it's so low of a number, but at the same time, that's kind of the point, is I want to use these palettes up. And yeah, I'm looking forward to making some more progress on this palette. Okay, so that is the update for the palettes. I feel like I kind of got through that pretty quickly. I don't know, I feel like I got through it a little more quickly than I normally do. Who knows though? Sometimes I feel like I'm moving quickly in these videos and they're still just as long as normal. But I will now be going ahead and rolling in 1 shade for my Pro 2 palette and 1 shade for my Glambition palette. So for the Pro 2 palette, I can roll in either navy, mocha, jade, or cocoa. I don't roll in cream or black shades just because the cream shades I'll just use quickly, and so there's really it's not exciting to watch. But then the black shades are just, they're so slow going. They're not exciting to watch. So I don't roll them into the quintet. I just kind of use them as I use them. I actually haven't used this one, I don't think at all, within the project, but I'm not too concerned about that. I may use it, I may not. We'll see. But yeah, so I can pull in any of these 4 shades. I'm hoping for one of these 3. Hoping, because I don't really feel like doing another bright color right now, but we will just give it a go. They are numbers 2, 3, 4, and 5 on my spreadsheet. So I will go ahead and put them into my random number generator. All right, so we got numbers 2 through 5. And we are going to generate, and that is number 2. Oh, God. Okay, number 2 is navy. So we will be working on navy. I'm quite nervous about it. I will be using it mostly as a liner, and yeah, we'll give it a shot. We will it'll probably be a little more slow going, but I mean, I want to use it up eventually anyways. And I will be using these other shades too. So we're gonna give it a go. We're gonna see what we can do. This is just gonna be an interesting month. This is gonna be an interesting month. All right, and then for the Glambition palette, my shades are 6, 7, and 8. So I will go ahead and put those in the generator. Okay, so we got numbers 6 through 8 on there. And we're gonna go ahead and generate. And we've generated the shade 6. So that will actually be the other matte brown shade, so Seeking, which is pretty easy. I mean, honestly, I've already been using it. Like I said, I've used it 24 times already. I'm using it in conjunction with Infamous, so I'll probably continue to do it the exact same way, which works for me because it's pretty straightforward and it's a pretty easy shade to use. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch all these shades and show you my new quintet. All right, so here is the quintet for this next month. So we got Corduroy, the Shadow, Plum, Navy, and Seeking. Again, very colorful. Not my natural inclination, but that's okay because we're gonna, again, we have to work through these shades anyways, and I'm okay with just finding creative ways to use them where, you know, it's all gonna work together eventually. As far as goals go, I think that, like I said, with the Pro Matte palette, I think chocolate might be able to get used up. I do wanna try to hit side pan on Corduroy. As far as the Pro 2 palette goes, I'm not too concerned about making like a ton of progress with the Shadow. I wanna just, I think, focus on making sure I use it at least 5 times. For the Plum, because of where it's at in the pan. So because I've got a pretty decent sized pan on it, I think I want to try to hit side pan somehow on this. So maybe hit side pan over here, maybe focus in and do that, then maybe try to like clear out a corner, maybe just kind of wear it down that way. I don't know how exactly I'm gonna go about that because it is, you know, it's a little harder of a shade to use for every day, but I think I can make that work. And then as far as navy goes, I don't really know what I'm gonna do because I think I will probably wanna use that mostly as a liner as well. So I'm gonna have to come up with some kind of creative way to use that one. I think I just wanna say I wanna use that one 5 times as well. This palette might become a little bit of a, like, we're gonna just say a certain number of uses a month and see what we can do until we can get it done. But aside from that, these shades I do want to get some more use on. I will probably make some really good progress on this one, but I also want to put some real emphasis on these shades over here as well. So I would say all in all, I'm probably going to try to use, actually, let's go ahead and say I want to use all shades from the Pro 2 palette 5 times. Each shade I want to use individually 5 different times. With the exception of black. I'm not going to worry about black. I might try to use it a few times, but I'm not worried about that one. We're going to exclude that one from the list. But the rest of them, I do want to use a minimum of 5 times. So that's going to kind of be my goal for the Pro 2 palette, is use each shade within the palette, including the Shadow, 5 different times. And then for Seeking, of course, the goal is to hit pan. I don't know. So like I had said before, Infamous already had quite the dip in it. And so I don't know with Seeking, it doesn't have nearly the dip. So I don't know that I'm going to hit pan on that one the next month. But all in all, I just want to continue to use these. I have been using She Was as my inner corner highlight, and I'll probably continue to do that. So there's a good chance that I will have even more progress on this one. I will continue to use Infamous in conjunction with Seeking, so I will probably have some good progress on that. And then seeing as how my light shades within this palette are like shimmer shades are gone, I will probably use Infamous and The Most a lot as well. So hopefully I'll get some really good use out of all these products, out of all these shades. But honestly, there's a good chance that I will do a lot of matte looks this next month as well, just to kind of focus on, you know, corduroy, because I do like that as an all over the lid kind of look. So maybe I'll do that a decent amount. But yeah, I was a little bit nervous about this happening where I had a lot of color between these two shades, but I honestly, now that I'm looking at it, I'm not too concerned. And I don't know if that's just because I knew I was gonna have to deal with this eventually or not. But yeah, I think putting it into the perspective of, you know, just use it 5 times this next month. Don't worry about making it priority, because, you know, you got to work through these shades eventually. Just get some use on them. Don't worry about using them 20 times. I tend to be the kind of person that I like to just plow in and use it a ton and get it used up. But this kind of helps me slow down and say, you know, just get some use. Don't worry about obsessing over it and making it happen. Just take your time, get some use on it, and get moving through it. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, feel free to give it a like. And if you'd like to follow along, do subscribe if you'd like to. And yeah, so I think we'll have some interesting progress next month. I do have some looks from this last month that I will put at the end of this video, as well as the overall progress on my palettes from the beginning of this project until now. So if you'd like to see those, feel free to stick around, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.